Hello, my name is Sihui. I'm a student at Colorado School of Mines. Here I'll present our paper, Learning Proofs of Motion Planning in Feasibility. Here is a motivating example. On the left, we have a state-of-the-art manipulation lab. This simulated kitchen has only a few items, and they are organized. On the right, we have a real example of a cluttered kitchen cabinet. Critically, some of the items in the cluttered cabinet may not be directly reachable. A robot performing planning in this scene must know whether there is a path to reach the target, and if not, it can rearrange the items. That means the robot must know the feasibility of motion planning. A complete motion planner has two parts. It needs to return a plan if a plan exists, or it needs to tell that there is no plan. Most current motion planning algorithms focus on the first part, that is to find the plan, such as sampling-based algorithms. These algorithms are probabilistically complete, meaning when a plan exists, they can find it eventually. If a plan does not exist, these algorithms run until timeout. However, this timeout does not mean no plan exists. This work seeks to find infeasibility proofs in motion planning. The resulting algorithm returns a plan, or an infeasibility proof when it terminates. We prove motion planning infeasibility by constructing a closed manifold that exists entirely in the obstacle region of the configuration space and separates the start and the goal, as is shown in this figure here. Most previous methods require exploring the entire configuration space to provide information about infeasibility. With this definition, we can create a manifold to prove infeasibility. Our algorithm runs the bidirectional search and infeasibility proof part in parallel, terminating with either a plan or an infeasibility proof. The inputs follow standard motion planning setup, with full knowledge of the configuration space, the start, and the goal. The bidirectional motion planner part runs on its own thread, and saves all the start tree points, goal tree points, and points sampled in the obstacle region, which are all used by the infeasibility proof part. It terminates the algorithm when it finds a plan. On the other thread, our infeasibility proof construction follows two broad steps. First, we construct a potential infeasibility proof that separates the start and the goal via learning and manifold triangulation. Then, we check whether the potential infeasibility proof is entirely in the obstacle region. If both steps are successful, we have an infeasibility proof. First, we learn a manifold. We treat the points in the two search trees from the bidirectional planner as two classes. Then we learn a classifier. Here we use a support vector machine with RBF kernel to learn a manifold, because it gives the manifold in analytic form. Other learning approaches may fit into this framework as well. As can be seen in this figure here, as the number of points in the start tree and goal tree increase, the learned manifold fits more fully into the obstacle region. After learning the manifold, we sample points on the manifold and then use the sampled points to construct a polytope using tangential Delaunay complexes. The results of the triangulation is a set of facets forming the polytope. Then we check to make sure each facet is in the obstacle region using configuration space penetration depth. If this is true, then the polytope is entirely in the obstacle region, and we have an infeasibility proof as defined before. If not, then we go back to sample more points and relearn the manifold. We apply our algorithm to two four-DOF robot scenes. We can see from this figure the runtime distribution. Most trials completed within 10 minutes. When the scene is more complicated, it takes longer. We also did profiling on the experimental runs, and here it's showing the profiling results for one of the scenes. Most of the time is spent on verifying the manifold, and the learning part is actually fast. To compare with our previous methods, we run experiments on these 3-DOF J-column scenes. Our previous algorithm constructs polytope directly without the learned manifold and does not work for 4-DOF manipulators. We run 3 scenes that are similar to the one shown in this figure here for a total of 36 trials. The overall comparison is shown in this box plot. Our current algorithm is about 3 times faster. To summarize, we have presented a novel method to learn proofs of motion planning feasibility, and we demonstrated these methods for 4-DOF robots. For future work, one part is scaling to higher dimension, and another part is on further theoretical analysis of the algorithm. Thanks for listening.